Now, before we start, we do something together, okay? I say, you repeat. Shri Narasimha, Jai Narasimha.
Shri Narasimha, Jai Narasimha.
Jai Jai Nrisimhadeva.
Jai Jai Nrisimhadeva.
Praladesha Jaya Padma.
Praladesha Jaya Padma.
Mukha Padma Bringa.
Mukha Padma Bringa.
All glories to Lord Nrisimhadeva.
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 Who is the Lord of Prahlad Maharaj.
Who is the Lord of Prahlad Maharaj.
And like the honeybee, is always engaged in beholding the lotus-like face of the goddess of fortune. So, we are all here to glorify the appearance of Lord Nrisimhadeva. Microphone is not working. Huh? Is it working or not? I don't feel it's working. I feel like it's not working. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. Hare Krishna. Okay, now it looks better. So I have a few ideas of how to celebrate this moment. We don't have so much time, but let's see to which point we arrive. First, I was thinking to talk about Prahlad Maharaj. This morning my husband was giving the lecture and he was focusing on the verse in Srimad Bhagavatam which describes the exact moment when Lord Nrisimhadeva comes out of the stamba, the pillar, and he talked also about extraordinary demon, father of Prahlad Maharaj. His name was Hiranyakashipu. I don't know if you are reading Srimad Bhagavatam and in the pastime where Jaya and Vijaya, who are the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha, and they get cursed, and when Lord Narayan comes to the place, he says, I have done this, in a way like he is taking the whole responsibility of that event. And we know from our acharyas that this pastime happens because the Lord wants to appear in his avatara forms and perform his pastimes in the material world, where he can teach us many lessons and also enjoy some fighting. So Jaya and Vijaya appear in 3 times. They have to take birth 3 times in the family of demons. So we know that it is Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu for the first time, then it's Ravana and Kumbhakarna, and then in the pastimes of Krishna. It's Shishupal and Dantavakra. It is very interesting how on one side we have an extreme demon character as Hiranyakashipu, and on the other side we have an extreme pure devotee, Prahlad Maharaj. So I want to share with you some special qualities of Prahlad Maharaj in the first part of this talk. I have taken the inspiration from one wonderful article from Back to Godhead, which is called The Exalted Qualities of Prahlad Maharaj. And it is very important for us to examine the characters of pure devotees, because we aspire in our spiritual practice to, as much as possible for our limited capacity, embody these qualities. So the first quality of Prahlad Maharaj is that he is a great devotee. Even he was just a small boy, 5 years old boy. Prahlad's symptoms of ecstasy are described in Srimad Bhagavatam 7.4.39. It says that Prahlad's devotional ecstasy as a 5-year-old boy is described by Narada. Because of advancement in Krishna consciousness, he sometimes cried, sometimes laughed, sometimes expressed jubilation, and sometimes sang loudly. So this is very, very interesting, and we know that Prahlad Maharaj is one of the 12 Mahajans, the greatest devotees of the Lord. The second quality, which is very important, is that Prahlad Maharaj is the embodiment of fearlessness. And we know in how many ways, different ways, the demons who were serving Hiranyakashipu, they tried to hurt, and ultimately they wanted to kill Prahlad. But nothing happened to him, and in all those situations he remained very fearless. So for us who experience very often fear in different situations, fearlessness is very, very important to meditate on. And it is said that I will again read a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.39.40. It says that the demons, Rakshasas, the servants of Hiranyakashipu, thus began striking the tender parts of Prahlad Maharaj's body with their tridents. The demons all had fearful faces, sharp teeth, and reddish coppery beards and hair, and they appeared extremely threatening, making tumultuous sound, shouting, "Chop him up, pierce him." They began striking Prahlad Maharaj, who sat silently meditating upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what is very interesting to examine and to observe is that Prahlad never tries to defend himself. He is always just meditating on Krishna without any kind of emotion which is, defending himself or becoming angry or blaming someone or, being, showing some kind of disturbance in all those situations. He remains completely peaceful And that's what is very, very important to understand. So a devotee who writes an article, he says, was that possible? How was it possible? He says, to understand that, we have to understand the next quality of Prahlad. And the next quality of Prahlad is faith in the Lord. So Prahlad had complete faith in the Lord's protection. That is our meditation today, very importantly. He was never agitated when put in danger. He only thought how he could best utilize every moment of his life in remembering and serving the Lord. So that's an amazing quality. And to underline this quality, we will read the verse 7:625, which says, expressing his complete faith in the mercy of the Lord, Prahlad said, "Nothing is unattainable for a devotee who have satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the cause of all causes, the original cause of everything." I think this is a very, very beautiful verse to remember. Nothing is unattainable for a devotee who has satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The next quality of Prahlad, very important, is the compassion for all. Prahlad Maharaj has offered many, many prayers to Lord Nrisimhadeva after Hiranyakashipu was killed. Lord Nrisimhadeva was still very, very angry, and the demigods tried to offer prayers, but they were afraid of Lord Nrisimhadeva's form. Even Lakshmi Devi was not willing to come near. So at the end, Prahlad Maharaj was encouraged by Lord Brahma to step near the Lord to pacify him. And then he offered many, many beautiful prayers. And after those prayers, the Lord asked Prahlad Maharaj which benediction he wants, what blessing he can bestow on him. And Prahlad Maharaj said, I cannot accept anything. I don't want anything. When I serve you, my Lord, I don't expect to be given anything in exchange. So it's a very interesting devotional platform. We know that he only asked that his father, becomes blessed. And he also said another prayer which is here mentioned. This is 7:943. So he says, "O best of the great personalities, I am not at all afraid of material existence. For wherever I stay, I am fully absorbed in thoughts of your glories and activities. My concern is only for the fools and rascals who are making elaborated plans for material happiness and maintaining their families, societies, and countries. I am simply concerned with love for them." This is, the devotee writes very nicely. He says, "Just as without the sun there cannot be light, similarly without Krishna there cannot be happiness." So Prahlad had a great desire that everyone should take shelter of the Supreme Lord. He again and again prayed to Nrisimhadeva to free everyone from their suffering. Just as the Supreme Lord is equal toward everyone and does not have any friend or enemy, similarly Prahlad did not consider anyone his enemy. He was everyone's best well-wisher and had compassion for all living entities. He even begged the Lord to forgive his father of all his sins. Prahlad did not have a revengeful mind, and the sinful demon got purified just by the touch of Lord Nrisimhadeva. So that's very, very elevated quality to be equal to everyone, to see everyone as part and parcel of the Lord, and to exhibit compassion without any judgment, without any self-interest in dealing with other living entities. The next quality we have here is no interest in childish playthings. And we know that during his education in the school, Prahlad was very eager to share with his friends the feelings he had about Krishna, and he was taking any moment to sing with his friends, and to in some way or another connect them with Krishna, because their education was completely by the demoniac society of Hiranyakashipu. It was completely like opposite to devotional education. So they were all educated in politics, competition, and different ideas of economic development, wealth. Wealth was very important, how to become very successful and rich, and all those things were brought up as the most important in the school. But in the time when the teacher would come away, Prahlad would talk about Krishna and sing about him and try to. And he was a prince. He was very attractive. He was very empowered by his bhakti. So they were following him. They were very happy to take part in those. And he reminds us also how precious is our life, and how fast it goes. We don't have actually so much time to, when the body and the mind are full of energy and able to engage in devotional service. So I'm looking here if I have something to read. There is no verse mentioned in this part. Let's read this. Now let us reflect on our own life. Forget the time when we were children. Now also, when we are grown up, we may be interested in playing sports or watching sports. We may get so immersed in sports that we forget everything else. Such absorption may give some flickering enjoyment, but it is never going to satisfy our heart and give us endless happiness. Devotee is explaining how we may distract ourselves with many things which this material world offers, but ultimately we will understand that the real happiness and the real enjoyment is connected with the Lord and with the spiritual activities. He says that pure devotees of the Lord enjoy every moment of their life to the fullest because they find joy in spiritual activities like chanting the names of Krishna, hearing about Krishna, worshipping the deity of Krishna. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, the lives of great devotees like Prahlad have been described so that we can learn from their lives and apply that knowledge in our own lives. So the next quality of Prahlad is free from pride. Prahlad is free from pride. And the verse that explains this quality is 7.4.31.32. It says, "To respectable persons he had acted exactly like a menial servant. To the poor he was like a father. To his equals he was attached like a sympathetic brother. And he considered his teachers, spiritual masters, and older God brothers to be as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead." And it says that Prahlad was even always respectful towards his father, who insulted and tortured him. He never exhibits any bad emotion towards his father. He is always very kind in every situation to his father. The next quality is a heroic preacher. Prahlad is a heroic preacher. So here is something interesting. Let's see, we have another verse. Here we are coming to the point where he is always very eager to say, very honestly what he thinks. Even when he's in danger, he always, says things openly and without fear. When Hiranyakashipu is asking him, "Where is your Lord who is protecting him? From where do you get this strength, this fearlessness?" No? And then he says, "My dear king, the source of my strength, of which you are asking, is also the source of yours. Indeed, the original source of all kinds of strength is one. He is not only your strength or mine, but the only strength for everyone. Without him, no one can get any strength, whether moving or non-moving, superior or inferior. Everyone, including Lord Brahma, is controlled by the strength of the Supreme Personality of Godhead." This is Srimad Bhagavatam 7.8.7. So it said that Hiranyakashipu tried his best to kill Prahlad, and Prahlad tried his best to make Hiranyakashipu a devotee of the Lord. So this is his real hero. He's a hero. He's our hero. We can definitely meditate on him as our hero. And I think this is the last one. It's a glorious Prahlad, the glory of Prahlad. Glorifying Prahlad, sage Narada says, "In any assembly where there are discourses about saints and devotees, O King Yudhishthira, even the enemies of the demons, namely the demigods, what to speak of you, would cite Prahlad Maharaj as an example of a great devotee." This is 7, 435. Prahlad had many spiritual qualities. We know that devotee has how many qualities? 26. 26 qualities. Prahlad had many spiritual, and so he is celebrated as one of the great devotees of the Lord. He shunned all material desires and took complete shelter of Lord Vishnu, who appeared as Lord Nrisimhadeva, the protector of all sincere devotees, who are rare in this world. So, this was the first part of the meditation. I have other two, but time is running. So you can choose. We cannot do both. Okay. So one is about a special place in Navadvip Mandala. Whoever was in Mayapur maybe went to that place. It's called Narasimhapali. There is a self-manifested devotee, deity of Lord Nrisimhadeva there. Or, if you want, we can read 5 special prayers of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, which describe how we can pray to Lord Nrisimhadeva in order to become qualified servants of Radha and Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Radha and Krishna. So, what would you like to hear? Or, I have a third one.
Doesn't make it easier.
Yeah, doesn't make it easier. But let's see, someone will get it. The story of how Lord Nrisimhadeva came to Mayapur in his Ugra Narasimha form. You want this? Okay. Okay. I couldn't choose. But I was inspired by my teacher, one of my teacher's mentors. She told me, I told her I'm going to give a speech on Lord Nrisimhadeva's appearance day. And I said, what shall I talk about? And she told me, why don't you tell the devotees how Lord Nrisimhadeva comes to Mayapur? And then she suggested to me an article from Back to Godhead, which is called Lord Nrisimhadeva Comes to Mayapur. And this is told by a devotee who have arranged when the devotees got attacked in Mayapur in, what was the year? 84. It says that on March 24, 1984, at 12:20 a.m., 35 men armed with weapons and bombs attacked Sri Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir, ISKCON Center in Mayapur. When this happened, of course, the whole devotee community was very shocked. But that's not the first time that this happens. It happened also at the times of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati and Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and it said that it happened on the Yoga Pit, where Lord Chaitanya appeared. And then they installed the deity of Lord Narasimha, Lakshmi Narasimha. And after that, no attacks were anymore happening in that place. But when the devotees came, and in 84 there was that severe attack, and immediately the whole community was saying, we need Lord Nrisimhadeva here to protect us. And somehow or other they wanted Lord Nrisimhadeva in his angry form, which is very different than Lord Nrisimhadeva which we have on our farm in Simhacharan, who is already peaceful peacefully holding Prahlad Maharaj on his lap. So there were many obstacles in that process of having Lord Nrisimhadeva as a deity in that form, because there is it's called a stapati. Stapati is a deity sculpture. No stapati want to do this seva. It's very, very difficult to manifest the Lord in his deity form, and they have very strict rules, and they have to be like authorized from their spiritual masters to do this, and they know how important is the process of manifesting such a deity. So they had made a research, and they found one stapati in South India. So he says, I left for South India to get the work started. They have made a design, the devotees. They had the project, the idea. And he said, I soon found a famous stapati or deity sculpture. The man was obliging until I mentioned that the deity we wanted carved was Ugra Narasimha. He emphatically refused to make such a deity. And then he tried with others, but no one wanted to do it. For 6 months he was trying, and then he came back again to that first stapati, and he says this time he was a little bit softer, and he said he took a special Vedic scripture of a sculpture and the temple architecture and engineering, and he read aloud some verses describing Lord Nrisimhadeva, his flame-like man, his searching glance, and his postures, knees bent, 1 foot forward, ready to jump out of the pillar. Let's describe how the deity looks in his Ugra Narasimha form. He's ready to jump out of the pillar. Today we were watching the Abhishek, Mahabhishek, and devotees were bathing Lord Nrisimhadeva with honey, with many, many kilos of honey. It was flowing for 15 minutes or something like that. And there was a devotee standing behind the Lord and putting his hand in the mouth of the deity because the honey was dropping so he can breathe, There's so much honey flowing on his face. It's very beautiful. So afterwards he says that this stapati, they were, like many times talking and going back and forth, but at the end he approached his guru, and then he asked his guru, and his guru said, don't do it. He says, your family will be destroyed. He said, but then, after a moment of reflection, the guru asked, who has asked you to carve this deity? And when he heard that it was the Hare Krishna people from Mayapur, he became very concerned. They want Ugra Narasimha. Are they aware of the implications of carving and installing Ugra Narasimha? Such deities were carved over 3,000 years ago by elevated stapatis. So he says, that this is a very, very elevated thing to do, But then in the end he says, He says they are insistent, the Stapadi tells his guru. They are insistent, they are constantly coming to talk to me about the deity. And apparently they have some problems with the dacoits, with the bandits. No? And handing his guru a sketch of the deity, they have a picture. No? This is the deity they want. Then the guru looked at the sketch and said, this is Ugra category, he said. But the deity in this particular mood is called Stanu Nrisimha. He doesn't exist on this planet. Huh? Even the demigods in the heavenly planets don't worship a form like this. Yes, this deity belongs to the Ugra category. Ugra means ferocious, very angry. And there are 9 forms within this category. They are all very fierce. 9 forms of Lord Nrisimhadeva in Ugra category. Can you imagine? And the one they want is Stanu Nrisimhadeva, stepping out of the pillar. And then again he says, no, don't carve this deity. It will not be auspicious for you. I will talk with you about this later. But in the night, the Stapadi had a dream, in which his guru came to him and said, for them you can carve Stanu Nrisimha. In a dream. He couldn't say it openly. He had to come in the dream. No? And then he finally also got the permission from his guru, and he said, I have guru's blessings, I will carve your deity. And then, to make it brief, because we have not so much time, the Stapati said to the devotee, in 6 months you will have a deity. And after 4 months, the devotee went there and asked, so, did you start? And he was like, what, start? No. I still didn't have the stone, I don't have the stone. And the devotee said, yeah, but you said in 6 months. He said, yeah, in the 6 months from the moment when I find the stone. And then he explained how the stone has to be alive in order to carve Lord Nrisimhadeva. The stone has to be alive, and it has to have a special sound at 7 points when you touch the stone. At 7 points it has to sound in a special way. And there has to be a word, you know, a word that goes in the stone and, you know, kind of, you know, like the stone has some taste. And you know, it's really interesting. And then finally he found the stone after some months, and it's very interestingly how he describes this process of manifestation of the Lord, and how Stapati was so careful and so absorbed when he was carving the deity. And when the deity was finished, devotees wanted to take him, but Stapati said, no, he has to still be there, I still have to do like some things. And then something astonishing happened. The Stapati went to visit some people. He was not there when it happened that the place where the deity was took fire. It was kind of, you know, covered place, and everything burned. And then the Stapati said, okay, he can go now, he can go, you can take him. And then the devotee says they went with a big truck, half full of sand, and they have to lift in 1 ton, was daily, and it was quite an endeavor. And they had to have permission from different government, you know, in charge of such transport. And he said that Lord Nrisimhadeva arranged everything very smoothly and quickly, and like papers which you would need months for, they were given in very short time. So he said he was very eager to come to Mayapur, and also these government people, they were afraid like to not sign papers for Lord Nrisimhadeva. So it was very, very interesting how a Lord came to Mayapur to protect all the devotees. And they also wanted Prahlad Maharaj, and there was a whole discussion of like how big should be the deity of Lord Nrisimhadeva to be in proportion with the deity of Prahlad Maharaj. And there's a whole discussion of this, and how they finally agreed that how big can be Prahlad. And yeah, it's interesting when this happened, this burning, the Stapati called the devotee and said, please come and take your deity. He's burning everything. He's made it clear he wants to go now. Yeah, so that was a beautiful story. It says the installation of Lord Nrisimhadeva lasted 3 days, July 28 to 30 in 1986. And he says, I remember feeling apprehensive that perhaps the installation was too simple. The grave burning of Sankaracharya of Kanchipuram had deeply impressed me. That's a guru of the Stapati. But my mind was soon appeased by the loud, dynamic kirtan, Sankirtan Yagya, the chanting of Hare Krishna, the only true opulence of Kali Yuga, was dominating the scene. I felt enlivened and satisfied. Lord Nrisimhadeva, the protector of the Sankirtan mission, had finally decided to manifest himself at Shri Mayapur Chaitanya Mandir. Haribo. Good. Now we can engage in chanting Holy Name. Thank you very much for being here with us, glorifying Prahlad Maharaj and Lord Nrisimhadeva. Hari Hari Bol.